How to make multicolor pom-poms. You can make two-tone, three-tone, pretty much any color combination pom-poms. You can even mix different yarns. So if you have any leftover yarns, it's a great way to put those yarns to use. You can use different tools. In this case, we have two different loom tools. So you can see the difference for pom-pom making. One is wider than the other. So for a bigger size pom-pom, you use the bigger tool or simply use a piece of cardboard. If you use a cardboard, wrap the yarn around it and wrap it around the shorter end for a smaller size pom-pom or along the wider part for a bigger size pom-pom. This is how to use the loom tool. So wrap the yarn around the wider part of the tool. If you don't have any tools, you can just simply use your hand. Wrap the yarn around your hand. For smaller pom-pom, just wrap it around 3 fingers. So even if you don't have any tools handy, you can still make a pom-pom. So let's do a demonstration on how to use one of the loom tools to make a pom-pom. Wrap the yarn around. The more wraps you do, the fuller your pom-pom is going to be. So now you can add a different color. So just keep wrapping the yarn. And when you think you have enough wraps, so for Merino 5, you can use probably maybe 20 to 25 wraps total. So maybe 10 in each color. Then you're gonna need a little bit longer, maybe I would say 10 inches or so strand of yarn to tie it in the middle. You don't even have to use the same yarn. Just make sure it's something strong so that it doesn't rip. And one small trick we have here is just make a little knot on the end. This way you don't accidentally cut the string when you trim your pom-pom. You will be using that string to attach the pom-pom to a hat or to whichever project you're attaching it to. So now simply just cut the loops. It's better to use bigger size scissors. And just keep going around and cutting every loop. Don't rush, take your time. When you're done cutting all the loops, at this point you just simply want to trim the pom-pom to make it more round. So just slowly go all the way around. And see, that's why this way you don't accidentally cut the string. Because if you cut it by accident, you will not be able to attach the pom-pom. And just carefully, just keep going around. So this pom-pom, you can see how they look a little bit different. The yellow one, the colors are a little bit more mixed, and on the pink one that we just made, they kind of go in sections. So how to make a pom-pom that has colors more evenly distributed? Well, it's quite simple. Instead of winding one color first and the second color next, you can apply the two colors together and wrap them at the same time. So this way, your colors will be more evenly distributed. And you can experiment wrapping the yarn in different ways and just see what you come up with. It's such a fun way to use up any scrap yarn that you might have. And in this case, you can use either color. If you're attaching it to a hat, for example, and if the hat is made with a red color, it probably makes more sense to use red for your tie. This way, when you attach it to the hat, the yarn kind of blends in a little bit more, but it doesn't make a big difference. Okay, again here, we're just tying a little knot on the end of the string. Slide it off the loom tool and cut the loops. So you can see how different the two pom-poms look, and the only thing you did differently is how you wrap the yarn and how you combine the colors. But they both look really cute. So you don't have to use the same yarn, and you don't have to use just two yarns. You can use any leftover yarns. So in this case, we have merino number 5 in color sage. It's kind of like a chunky merino. Then we have merino worsted, which is a much lighter weight, and mohair. So this is mohair in color pretty in pink, and just keep wrapping it around. For this pom-pom, I want yarn to be kind of more in sections, but if you want the loop, if you want the yarns to be more evenly distributed, again, just apply them all together. But here specifically, we wanted to have more like a color pop with each yarn. And just don't forget to cut the string. You can either cut all the strings at the end when you're done wrapping, or you can cut the string when you're done wrapping each color. With thinner yarns, of course, you have to do more wraps, but it really depends on the look that you're trying to get. If you want just like a little bit, like a very subtle accent, just only do a few wraps. So here we're doing a few different colors, but also different textures. And again, you don't even have to use any tools. You can just simply wrap it around your hand. And for the string that you tie in the middle, make sure you use something stronger. For example, mohair is probably not going to be a good choice. It will rip, or even the worsted. So use thicker yarn, or you can even use some other yarn. It doesn't even have to be the same yarn you use in the pom-pom, just something that will be quite strong. It's always so much fun to see how different colors and textures come out in the pom-pom. You can have some very unexpected results. So here we have two different pinks, one in worsted and one in mohair. So it's a similar color but completely different texture. And then we have some polar bear and a little bit of moss green. And you can add pom-poms to so many different projects.